Hello everyone. This video is intended to be a brief look at Pelikan's M600 Tortoiseshell Red, which was released just this year in 2020. It's one of the last models of the year. And when I first heard about it, it obviously brought back visions of the M101N Tortoiseshell Red, which was released in 2014. And so I was expecting a somewhat similar appearance. And I'm rather happy to say that's not the case. And there's some key differences here. Probably the first thing you can notice between the two is that the barrel is a different pattern of tortoise. The new M600 has a very reddish, orangey hue to it, and it's got these pearlescent stripes in between and some darker stripes to kind of break it all up. It's very kind of warm and inviting. Whereas if you look at the tortoiseshell pattern on the M101N, it just has a very different feel to it, not quite as warm, more yellows and browns and tans, so just a very different look. It's also very hard to photograph, and I've not been able to capture it well, but the red resin of the two are actually different, which I'm actually happy about. The resin on the M600 tends to skew darker, deeper, more of like a fire engine red, whereas on the M101N, it has more pinkish tone to it, and it really requires direct comparison side by side and in good light to see it. I've been hard to press to capture it in photography and videos, but that is the case, and I don't know if you can kind of tell here, but definitely a difference between the two reds. The M600 is a nice size. It's a medium-sized pen. It balances beautifully when posted. It doesn't have the weight of the M800 because it is all plastic construction, doesn't have that brass piston assembly, but some people prefer that. Though a lot of people will probably regret that this does not have the weight and size of the M800. One thing noticeably lacking is an ink view window. This area, the ink chamber here, is completely opaque. There's no visualization, no discrete ink window. This will be bothersome to many, though kind of looking on the bright side, at least you don't have to worry about staining in a pen like this, and you can use whatever ink you please. As far as the nib goes, these come with Pelikan standard 14C 585 gold bicolor nibs. This one's labeled medium, but it's actually a cursive, it's an italic grind by Fritz Schimpf. It's the Fritz Schimpf italic, and I'll show a separate video of that as a writing sample. Kind of splurged on this one since it was kind of such a special looking pen. Everything you'd expect from an M600 here in terms of furniture. You have the plated cap top showing the single chick logo, the beak clip. There's nothing that stands out as unusual or anything that's not standard fare. One thing that got pointed out in a couple places I noticed, some people were pointing out these lighter areas between the cap bands here. You can see where the resin's somewhat a different color. If you look closely, you can also see that happening down by the trim ring here on the piston knob. The explanation for that is nothing fancy. I'll use this M800 Chinese demonstrator as a way of example, only because it's a clear demonstrator. You can see here the cap band construction. That's the way it's done. There's this kind of connecting piece in between. So it's all kind of these two bands are not two separate bands, but one single piece. And you can see that single piece construction that way. And so sometimes, depending on the resin, if it's a lighter resin, it can show up. And we've seen this on multiple models, though many people sometimes don't take notice of it, so it becomes a thing that they point out, but it's actually been around for quite some time. And you can see here, the construction is the same on the trim ring at the piston knob, so nothing unusual there. Also, just kind of as a little extra, I don't usually buy ballpoints because they don't really appeal to me. We are in this for the kind of the more analog fountain pen side of things, but I couldn't help with this one. The only other ballpoint I've ever regretted not getting was the burnt orange, but this one, when I saw it, I figured I just had to have it because it just looks sharp. There are times when you can't use a fountain pen, and I thought this would fill those times nicely. This is a good size in the pocket. Little back heavy because of the mechanism here, so most of the weight is up here. It's a twist mechanism, So about a half twist, and you get the ink out. This takes Pelikan standard 337 ballpoint refills. They come in a variety of widths and colors. And I'm sure there's other manufacturers that have refills that'll work as well. So this is perhaps the not so brief look at Pelikan's new M600 Tortoiseshell Red, and a little bit of their K600 as well. Just absolutely stunning pens, ones that I think will be flying off the shelves and eventually hard to come by. So if these appeal to you, I wouldn't wait too long to grab them.